Hi, and welcome to your astrological forecast for April 2025 for Libra and Libra Rising. If you're not sure what your rising sign or ascendant sign is, you can calculate it online using your exact birth date, time, and place, or just email me and I'll help you figure it out personally. Now let's dive into this month's story. And the story really begins with partnerships and daily life, because April brings major activation to your 7th and 6th houses. These areas are lit up by powerful transits and alignments, making them the heart of your experience throughout the month. That means the major themes for you will revolve around relationships, both personal and professional, and the structure of your day-to-day life, including work routines, health, and how you take care of your body. It all starts right at the end of March, on March 29th, when a solar eclipse and new moon in Aries occurs in your 7th house of partnership. This is a pivotal moment that marks the beginning of a new cycle in how you connect with others. Whether in love, business, or any one-on-one dynamic, something important is shifting. You may be entering a new relationship, ending an old one, or rebalancing an existing partnership. And although the results of an eclipse unfold over time, this marks a clear threshold. You're stepping into a new way of relating. Then, on March 30th, Mercury, still retrograde, re-enters your 6th house and joins Neptune there. This could bring some initial confusion around work, scheduling, communication with colleagues, or even your health. Don't jump to conclusions too quickly. Things may not be as clear as they seem, and miscommunication is likely. But almost immediately, on April 3rd, Venus conjoins the North Node in Pisces, also in your 6th house. This is a karmic turning point. You might receive an intuitive nudge about what needs to change in your daily life, a habit to release, a routine to rebuild, or even a new job opportunity that feels strangely fated. On April 7th, things become more grounded. Venus aligns with Saturn in the 6th house, and Mercury finally turns direct. After weeks of inner processing, now you're ready to clarify what's working and what isn't. You may make a solid commitment to a new lifestyle, to a healing process, or to a more sustainable work rhythm. This is a serious moment, but it's also stabilizing. You're building a better system for yourself, one that can actually last. Meanwhile, the relationship story continues. On April 12th, the Sun meets Chiron in your 7th house. This could stir up old wounds or vulnerabilities around intimacy and trust, but it can also bring a powerful opportunity for healing. You may see a pattern clearly, one that's followed you from past relationships, and you finally understand how to begin breaking free from it. It might come through a heartfelt conversation, a sudden realization, or an emotional experience with someone close. Then, on April 14th, Saturn meets the North Node, again in your 6th house. This is rare and meaningful. You may suddenly recognize a long-term responsibility that's calling you, a professional path that's more aligned with your true role, or a health decision that will shape the next phase of your life. It's karmic, it's serious, and it's deeply personal. By April 16th, Mercury re-enters Aries and your 7th house, bringing focus back to communication and partnerships. And on April 17th, it meets Neptune, opening the door to inspiration, spiritual connection, or some confusion in your conversations with others. Be honest, but don't rush. There's something tender here, and the truth may unfold more clearly by the end of the month. Then, on April 20th, Venus meets the North Node once more in the 6th house, and this time the message is deeper. You're being asked to align your day-to-day life, your work, your habits, even your relationship with your body, with your higher path. It's not about being perfect, it's about being present and intentional. And finally, on April 25th, Venus meets Saturn in Pisces, offering a final checkpoint. Have you truly committed to what serves you? If yes, you may feel a quiet sense of inner strength. If not, you'll know what needs to change. And as the month nears its close, on April 30th, Venus enters Aries and returns to your 7th house. The energy shifts, relationships feel more active, bold, even fiery. You might feel ready to speak your truth, to pursue someone openly, or to renegotiate the terms of a close connection. One way or another, you're no longer waiting, you're leading. after so much focus on the 6th and 7th houses. Health, work, and partnership, the energy begins to sink deeper as the Sun enters Taurus on April 19th, activating your 8th house. This shift moves your attention to the invisible layers of life. It's no longer just about structure and relationship dynamics. Now you're being asked to examine what lies beneath them. Questions of trust, power, vulnerability, and financial entanglements come to the surface. Whether it's a conversation about shared assets, loans, taxes, or something more emotional, like a fear of letting go or of being fully seen, this part of the month asks you to get real with yourself. And that energy deepens even further with the new moon in Taurus on April 27th, also in your 8th house. This is a moment of reset, a quiet but potent opportunity to begin a new chapter when it comes to what you share, what you owe, what you invest in, and how willing you are to merge your life with someone else, not just romantically, but emotionally and financially. You may start a new financial plan, begin to pay off or take on a major commitment, or begin processing an experience that changes your sense of power and emotional safety. The 8th house isn't always light, but when it's activated, it opens the door to true transformation. Not the surface level kind, but the kind that comes when you face your own shadow and grow because of it. And right in the midst of all this deep emotional energy, a larger and slower current is also stirring. Because Jupiter is now moving through Gemini, your 9th house. Even if you're still knee-deep in emotional or financial work, you'll start to feel something shift in your perspective. New ideas, new philosophies, a hunger for expansion. The 9th house is about seeing beyond your usual world through study, travel, teaching, or opening your mind to different beliefs. Jupiter here brings an urge to learn, to explore, to ask bigger questions. Maybe you're thinking about a course, a move abroad, or publishing something. Or maybe it's subtler, like the quiet feeling that you're growing out of your old worldview. Now, while Jupiter begins expanding your vision of what's possible, another important aspect forms that quietly ties everything together. Around the end of the month, Saturn in Pisces forms a sextile to Uranus in Taurus, a harmonious connection between your 6th and 8th houses. This is big because it helps you bridge two areas that don't always feel easy to align: the need for day-to-day structure and the desire for deep change. This aspect supports you in building sustainable systems that allow for freedom, particularly around health, work routines, emotional boundaries, and finances. You may find a new rhythm, one that helps you feel more in control of your responsibilities, while also freeing you from something that's been limiting you for years. Saturn brings discipline, Uranus brings liberation. Together, they offer balance. Change doesn't have to be chaotic. It can be designed, built from the ground up, in a way that actually supports you long term. So as we move through the second half of April, you may notice a soft but undeniable pull toward depth, honesty, and future growth. You're letting go of old versions of yourself, clearing debts, literal or emotional, and preparing for the next level of personal power. And at the same time, you're starting to dream again. You're thinking bigger, imagining more, beginning to believe that the future could look very different from your past. As we move into the middle of April, things begin to crystallize, especially around your sense of self. On April 13th, the full moon lands in Libra, right in your 1st house of identity, image, and direction. This is your moment. It's personal, direct, and visible. Something that's been building inside you. Maybe a sense of frustration, maybe a quiet desire for change, reaches the surface. Full moons bring things to light, and in your case, it's likely to show up as a need to reclaim your independence or draw a boundary, especially in relationships. If you've been overcompromising or holding back to keep the peace, this full moon could push you to say, enough. This is who I need. Since full moon echoes the solar eclipse from March 29th in your 7th house, whatever culminates now is part of the broader shift in how you relate to others. This could be the moment you officially leave a dynamic that's no longer healthy, or finally speak your truth in a way that clears the air. Some of you may make a personal decision about your appearance or public image. Cutting your hair, launching a profile, going visible. It's less about ego and more about alignment, showing the world what's true for you now. And the very same day, Venus stations direct after weeks of retrograde motion in your 6th house. That brings clarity and movement in areas of health, schedules, and work relationships. Delays around job offers, collaborations, or wellness plans may now start moving forward. If there was confusion about roles or priorities in your daily life, it starts to lift. You may make a firm choice to stop tolerating chaos in your routines, to fix your schedule, to re-engage with your body in a more consistent way. Then, just a few days later on April 18th, Mars enters Leo, igniting your 11th house of friendships, long-term goals, and communities. This is a dynamic shift. The focus turns outward from your personal relationships and inner work to your larger social life and future plans. You may become more assertive in group settings, more driven to lead, or more ambitious about a project involving other people. This is an excellent time to take initiative around collaborative work, networking, or organizing something public, especially if it aligns with a bigger mission you care about. At the same time, however, Mars in Leo can also spark tension. If you've outgrown a group, a friend, or a shared vision, you may feel that friction now. You may notice power struggles, ego clashes, or a strong desire to take more control. Don't be afraid to step into leadership. Just be mindful of being too forceful. This energy works best when it's channeled into action, launching something, leading a team, rallying others around a clear purpose. It's a month of rebalancing between your needs and other people's, between structure and freedom, between daily survival and long-term vision. The 7th house starts it off with a solar eclipse and a wave of change in partnerships. The 6th house demands adjustments in your habits, health, and workflow. And then, by mid-month, the focus shifts inward and forward. The full moon in your 1st house pushes you to show up as your real self, while Mars entering your 11th house pushes you outward, to lead, to launch, to connect. Meanwhile, your 8th house opens up serious conversations around trust, money, and control. And the rare Saturn sextile gives you a rare opportunity to make sustainable changes, practical ones that free you over time. Add Jupiter in the 9th house, and the picture is clear. You're closing chapters that no longer fit and making space for something bigger. That bigger part, it doesn't rush in, but the groundwork is being laid now. In the way you speak, commit, prioritize, and align your daily life with where you actually want to go. Thanks for being here. If this forecast helped you tune in, like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next one. See you soon.